that drops tomorrow. So get ready because I'm going to be going live a lot more. And we've seen one of the things that we've seen a lot is a lot more users are using live. Like live is getting used way more than it was now. So now I see party hats and all kind of stuff. So yeah, celebratory. That's right. Live button tomorrow. If the App Store guys are kind to us.
Oh, that is true. We always gotta put that in there.
Right.
So going through the chat, someone asks, I invested in the initial round. Mm-hmm. Is it because of the new valuation that the cost is now $3.99?
Oh, to the minimum to invest.
The minimum, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason that's done is also we're raising $17 million, and so it's just a numbers game, right? So I've said before that 28,500 people investing $600 is $17 million. So I wanted to make sure that we got investors in, a lot of people, the opportunity to invest, but we wanted to raise the minimum a little bit, just up from the $245 to $399, which is another $150 more. But you are, getting more equity and more stock in the company at this round, even though you're getting about 60 shares of Fanbase stock at $665 a share for $399. And shares will continue to escalate and grow as we build the company. So that's why the minimum was increased, because we're raising 17 million. If we were raising $1 million, $5 million again, we would have left it at 245 easy. But $17 million is a lot more money than $5. Yeah. So we had to inch it up just a little bit. But also, in that round, it also offers the opportunity for accredited investors and non-accredited investors to come in. So even an accredited investor that might want to make a small investment, that minimum is just a little bit higher, so they can come on in.
Definitely. So I did see some comments and someone, I don't know if it's a joke or not, but I use this opportunity about selling the shares. You are not allowed to sell shares like that. That's not how it works. And so
we can explain how that works with the investment, how it works, right?
Yeah.
So when you invest, when you do seed stage investing, right? Understand this. This is factual, right? So treat this as if you had an opportunity to invest in any early stage company before it went public. So think about NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA is hugely popular right now, but it's actually a publicly traded company. But imagine if you were able to invest in NVIDIA before it went public, right? Or before Apple went public, or before Facebook went public. So when you're doing these type of investments, when you're doing these pre-seed investments, you ride the life cycle of the company. So I'm going to tell you, there are 4 eventualities for Fanbase, right? The first one I always say, hex on it, boo, it's not going to happen, which is Fanbase will go out of business. We're not even thinking about that. The other 3 are called liquidity events. In a liquidity event, that means that the company either goes public, is acquired, or merges with another company. So if there's a merger, everybody gets bought out, company goes on, gets paid. If the company gets acquired, some larger entity wants to come and eventually buy Fanbase. I don't know who that could be, but they buy it for a higher value than it is now. All the shareholders will sell their stock, and that new company will acquire Fanbase and move on. And then there's going public. Then it becomes a retail invested traded company. Oh, the things work on the camera over here too. That's neat. So, so a retail investor now is when you go public and you sell your stock. So when you sell your stock on the open market, you sell your shares before we actually go public. And so that's something that I think is extremely important. So I'll be excited about that.
That's great. So I just think, is that because you're using your finger while showing?
I don't know. Does this happen if I do this? I don't know. Oh, yeah. It does work. So it works. Oh, wow. So this is cool. This is neat. So I can do all kind of like special effects and make us rock out and all that kind of stuff. Boom, while we're on live. Bet you didn't know you could do that. Yeah, so that's cool. Look, everybody,
we're just playing around in live.
We're just playing around. We're just playing around in live and making it do cool things like that. Thumbs up, all this double thumbs up stuff that we're doing. If you're not in live, you're missing the show right now. If you're in audio, you should be in live and see all the cool effects we're doing.
All right. I want to address one of the questions about verification. I know I mentioned in the tier system that we have for the race that you can get the check mark. Now, we do verification also besides the race, so it doesn't mean that you only get verified.
Oh, yeah, if you pay for it.
If you invest, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
We're not other platforms, but we do go through a process. Now, we're a little bit behind on the process just because a lot of people ask for verifications.
Yeah.
And we want to do our due diligence, so please be patient. If you have submitted your verification, again, we have a process, and we're a little bit behind, so just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, we're not charging for verification, like for you to keep it month over month. Like that's not what it is. But we definitely think it's enticing because I mean you are an early investor. What better way to let people know you were here first than to be verified on the platform? And then if you invest like between like I said over what is it 2,500, you get gold. And then you got the gold badge, like my badge is gold, and then that's a whole nother flex. Like I'm really one of the early investors with the gold verified investor badge. So yeah.
So I'm seeing some comments about the last 2 weeks. We actually had a mental health campaign. We had every single day an audio room with subject matter experts and speakers about mental health. So someone was mentioning how great it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to give a shout to the marketing team for putting that together.
Yeah.
And we'll continue doing more of those great audio rooms out there for everyone to enjoy the conversation. So
yeah.
Just wanted to mention that.
What did Duran say? Duran.
Let me see. What is Duran?
Duran asked some question. He said something.
Can you all inform the people? Let me see. Hey guys. Oh, sorry. Hold on. There's so many comments on live that it's still going down on me. Hold on. I'm going. Don't comment
I think
on
you
live.
Passed it.
I passed it?
I think you did. It was just there.
Oh, sorry guys. Bear with us. We're looking at all the comments.
Yeah, there's so many comments on live.
All right, there you go. Hey guys, you're not allowing the resale of shares, correct? No. We should already explain.
Yeah, we're not allowing people to resell shares. No.
Okay.
So you're with us the whole way.
Yes.
That's great. You want to be though, because listen,
You do.
like I mean, whenever you hear, and I tell people to research this all the time. Whenever you hear like VCs or angel investors, or even sometimes celebrities exiting companies like Nas with Ring and PillPack, and they say, "Oh, Nas exited, from Coinbase or whatever, or platforms like that." That's because they were in the same position that you are now with Fanbase. They were seed investors, early investors, pre-IPO. So you definitely want to take that opportunity to do that. So for sure.
Yeah. So I see someone say, Jam, if I get 10,000 people to come to Fanbase this month, what can be my incentive? Well, number one, Jam, I don't know if you are an existing investor, you're thinking by doing that, you're already increasing the value a lot of your investment. So there's incentive in that as well. Number two, if those 10,000 people are part of your following or your community, you're going to make a lot of money. That's the second incentive. Now, number three, if you indeed do that, we are actually working on a pilot program, ambassador program. We're not sure yet when we're going to be launching it, but we are looking at super users that are, bringing a lot of users into Fanbase. So there's a lot of incentives there if you're, bringing users over. So when are you adding the repost to story feature? We're hoping soon. Stories is one of those verticals that we do need to work on, and we need to do some technical work before we can bring the reshare. Reshare is something that we've been thinking for quite some time internally in Fanbase, and it has several considerations just because we're a fully monetized company, but we're definitely looking into it. Maybe Q4, maybe Q1 2025, but we're going to bring it. We know we're missing it. All right, let's see. I'm seeing if there's any other questions there.
Anything over there either?
I'm trying to look. I'm looking at every screen. There's so many questions. Someone said, as a dev, I'm excited about the tech developments on the app. Thank you so much. That's great to hear.
Oh, Geek Knowledge 937 has a question. Will we have opportunities in the near future to invest? Well, the time to invest is now, but he says at the moment, I'm not financially ready, but I would definitely love to invest my next $399. So how that works is these capital raises close when we meet the goal that we set, so $17 million. So we're a bit away from $17 million, but what I can say is that there are moments where the raise goes viral. There has not been a raise that we've done in the previous 3 rounds that someone has not hit us after the fact and said, yo, man, like, what's going on? I'm like, we told y'all. So I always say, as soon as you get your $399 and you want to invest it, and make sure you do that. Now, let me explain. This is something that we didn't explain. I want to make sure I explain that. The process of what happens when you invest and where the money goes and what happens. So when you invest in Reg A or Reg C of crowdfunding, what happens is your money goes into an escrow account. That means you don't have it and we don't have it. So you invest your money, and in that period of time, there's something done called a money laundering background check. Not on us, on you, the investor. They're making sure that you're not trying to launder money through this round. Once you pass the money laundering background check, you will receive an email saying that you want to confirm your investment. Like, okay, I passed the background check. I want to confirm my funds and invest in Fanbase, and you confirm. So you got to check your email, check your Start Engine account to confirm your investment, right? That's the second part. The third part is all that money sits in a disbursement queue for us until we're ready to accept those dollars. And so whenever we accept the dollars that include your money, you are finally invested in Fanbase, and you'll be notified of the process, and then you are invested in Fanbase. The reason that is done is because the SEC and equity crowdfunding wants to give people a ton of time to make the right decision, to feel comfortable about the investment that they're making. If they change their mind, if they have to wait another week or two before they invest, they have to pull their money back, whatever. But they want to give you, they don't want you to just say, I want to invest, and then the money's gone. That would be, chaotic. So they give you more than enough time. And also, I'll say this, there's been a lot of times that people have invested in Fanbase and thought they invested, and then their money was returned to them because they did not confirm the investment. And so that's another thing, that you have to confirm your investment. So I know people that say, like, I thought I was invested, and they look and say, oh, you guys send me my money back. Well, I was like, you got to check your emails. You got to check your Start Engine portal. That is home base for where your shares will be. If you go to startengine.com and log in, once you create an account, that is basically your portfolio of companies or the company that you invest in, because they are the custodian of your shares. We know how many shares you have, but they are held within the Start Engine portal, and we know how many people are invested. So make sure that you confirm your investment. Yeah. There might even be somebody in this room on the live or an audio, or somebody that hasn't even confirmed their investment. So make sure that you have confirmed your investment so that you are, because sometimes we see failed payments, we see payment errors, and people forget, and they're wondering why they didn't invest in Fanbase. Definitely.
So I want to take one question and ask you a question of something that you've been talking about today. Someone asked, what was it like getting the first 10,000, 100,000 users onto Fanbase? And how is growth different now?
Wow.
What I want to get from that, and we'll answer the question with the stories. Lately, you watched a show on HBO that really opened your eyes. I want to say something about Isaac. Since the beginning, what I've learned from you. First of all, I've learned a lot from you.
I learned a lot from you.
Sounds like I hope
Yeah.
But you are a person that is very observant and growth and looks at what things happen outside of Fanbase, and try to get the good and the bad as well.
Yes.
And compare ourselves, right? And this week you text me in the morning and says, yo, you got to check this show. What show was that?
That Movie Pass, Movie Crash documentary.
Yeah, and I want you to tell our audience the journey of a black founder, and things that you've learned to be careful with, and what not to do or what to do, and just share a little bit of your journey in these past few years, and then maybe we'll answer what was the feeling when we first got our first dollar from the raise, or the first 10,000 users.
Yeah, so I come from the music industry, and something that I learned even from my father is that a lot of his intellectual property was taken from him. His writer's shares for his music. So the ability to own the actual revenue that he made from his music is something that he never got to see. So that's probably like $40 or $50 million worth of money that never went to our family. And that's a lot of money. But ownership has always been something that I've been very, very adamant about, and I wanted to be careful about, because even in me starting to learn about tech and understand, some of my friends that have been very successful in tech went through some of the same issues that even the founders of MoviePass, which are two black men that founded MoviePass, which was that once the company was founded, they took dollars into the company, and then they had a board, and then the board consisted of people that wanted to make decisions that went against what the founders wanted to do. And the two gentlemen, one of the reasons that they felt that they needed to make these decisions is that one of the investors felt that they needed a white founder to be the face of the company, or a white CEO. So for that very reason, they brought in a white CEO of the company, and then they changed the structure of the board. Well, immediately after this CEO came on board, they voted the 2 black founders out of the company. So they were gone. So the guys that actually invented MoviePass, and they started in 2011. This didn't happen until 2017. Yep. So imagine building a company for 6 or 7 years, taking on some capital, and they vote you out of your own product that you built. And then now they're on TV with founder and CEO of MoviePass in front of that. So my journey in building this company is to make sure that as a black founder, that the company is owned by someone that is African American, by myself, but also the opportunity for people to invest and have equity in the startup. So ownership is extremely important to me. So that was the journey. And then in that process, also when you take angel investment, you give up equity for the company. And so in the beginning of Fanbase, I took a gamble and put my own money, what we call bootstrapping, right? Taking your own money and putting it up. So I put like $200,000 of my own money that I did not have to put. I actually borrowed, basically took an advance of royalties that I would eventually make over a period of time to build Fanbase, which was a blessing. And so with that $200,000, we were able to build the very MVP of Fanbase. And in between that year, probably about 2-year period, where we didn't even tell anybody, because honestly, I wasn't, I wanted people to organically use the platform, but we got to about 10,000 users organically.
Yeah, it was an interesting time because you kept pushing, saying, well, we're not ready. We still need to do this. We still need to do that. And while we're working on that, let's call it on the beta version, we were getting users. And we were getting users making money too, right? So organically, we started growing a lot, which was crazy. We never actually said, hey, let's put this ad in here or this ad over there. So we never actually came to the realization. It was like, wow, we just got 10,000. When we realized, we're like, oh man, we're 20,000. 30,000, 50,000. And then the time came where we're like, okay, it's time.
Yes.
We need to make the next step.
Yeah.
And I told Isaac, because he always told me, he was like, man, the life as a black founder when you're trying to invest money is tough. And I can understand when you tell me that, but unless you experience it.
Yeah.
And I experienced in Go. You remember we used to have meetings with investors, and they're like, "Oh my God, we love this is great," and then they would disappear.
Yeah.
And we got to a point where you say, "You know what? It's time. You put yourself in front of everyone."
Right.
And that's where Start Engine came into the into the scene.
Yeah.
And we actually raised, and really the realization we're like, "Oh my God, this is happening," is when you went into the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And actually, after that, it just
everything changed. It went viral. But I will say this: the Breakfast Club was amazing. But I will always say that nothing speaks better for Fanbase than Fanbase itself. The product, I know people say I'm charismatic and I articulate the idea and I definitely speak life into what our vision is. But as you can see, we're in an audio room, we're on live, and we're live on web, on a platform with multiple, verticals or user tools that we've raised that even some platforms don't have all of these and have raised hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's credit to Ramiro and the dev team for creating a product that is amazing, amazing. We're gonna give some shout outs to that because this is really, really hard. I don't think people understand how hard it is. Everybody thinks they can build an app, so you got to build one, and it's a different scenario. So nothing speaks better for Fanbase than Fanbase itself, and so that's what has me excited is that the best advertising for even Start Engine is tell a friend to download the app. I was over at Georgia Tech today, and someone downloaded the app, and he was like, "Man, this is really good." He's like, "How much money did you guys raise?" And in his face, in real time, I migrated his content from Instagram over to Fanbase, and his jaw dropped. He was like, "Wait, how did you do that?" And I was like, "We filed a patent on that, by the way." But he was like, he was like, "This is incredible." He's like, "I don't even have to start over from scratch anymore. I could just move my content over and do that." I said, "Yeah, we could do it with TikTok too." So those are the things that we're talking about. But those are the innovations and things that, the dev team is able to build. I can come up with an idea. And this is the first thing that Ramiro told me about tech, which I really loved. He said, it's not about cost. It's about time. He said, and Ramiro backed it up. He said, we can build anything. It's just, do you want it built in 3 months or 3 years? And so the money, the capital that we raise, even including in this round, allows us to move at a faster speed because, we want to be agile and move faster. So I think Ramiro has always delivered on anything that I've ever asked that we could build. we either said it can be done, or we can do it a little bit later, but it's doable, and I love that.
You are getting a little bit spoiled because your questions are starting to change. Before it's like, hey, can we do that? And now you're like, hey, we need to do this.
Right. We got to do this. We got to have that.
Yeah. So I will mention something, looking at some of the comments, for those that didn't know, are new to Fanbase. Yes, you can migrate all your content from either TikTok or Instagram or both through Fanbase. If you go to your profile, tap on settings, you're going to see migrate from TikTok, migrate from Instagram, and you'll be able to migrate that right away. We released a version 2.0 from the migration tool, so it should work perfectly as long as you follow the instructions. If not, reach out to tech support. They'll help you migrate as well. And I dare you, if you never made any money in Instagram or TikTok, when you migrate, if you don't make a single penny in the next week or so, something is wrong.
Right.
That's the wow moment. Actually, I've been participating a lot of some creator onboarding meetings, and I love when, just like you just mentioned, when we're like, hey, you want us to migrate your content? We do it. After a few minutes, like, oh my God, how you did that? And then suddenly they get $1 out of the content that they never made any money, and they're like, oh my God, that's the wow moment.
That's the light bulb moment. Like, oh, so all these photos that I have on Instagram and TikTok that no one can ever love, they can show me love over on Fanbase, and I can actually make some money for it. So that's definitely, and ironically, like, what's the ratio from love to subscriptions? Do we know? Is it 50-50 or?
So it's interesting because, you know,
matter of fact, you're monetizing your content like more now. So
you know, you gotta practice what you preach, guys.
Right.
So every week I'm putting an exclusive piece of content, telling you a little bit of what's coming up.
Right.
And we're empowering everyone in Fanbase, no matter if you are doing QA, if you're doing development. We want everyone to practice what they preach. So I am monetizing in Fanbase, and I'm very happy about it.
What are you making more money off loves or subscriptions?
So I am making more money on labs. It's an interesting thing because when we first started Fanbase, we really we're seeing more subscriptions than labs.
Right.
And then as we see users coming into the platform and getting comfortable with the concept of lab, passive income has really grown a lot.
Right.
And we're seeing a lot of, upkeep on labs. So I wouldn't be surprised starting to see a lot of people that make more money out of labs. Obviously, it takes more time, just because you need a lot of labs to make some significant.
But that was the scale effect that I thought about. I was like, well, 1 million loves, right, is 1 million pennies, which is $10,000. So and I thought, like, imagine making $5,000 off a photo one day or a video one day in just pennies. Like I said, a penny isn't a lot till 1 million people give you one, and on Fanbase you wind up with right now, I think all it's 70, 100% of revenue after App Store fees.
After
when is that over?
So it's over July 15th. Yeah. So if you didn't know, we're giving 100% revenue after store fees to all creators.
Yeah.
So this is the time to
make money.
Make money in Fanbase. If you know creators out there, let them know about Fanbase. If you know those that support creators, because you need both parts here, right? You need those that create the content and those that love the content. Let them know about this, because we're giving it all to, our community.
Yeah, making lots of money.
Yeah,
so that's
definitely.
Good.
Let's take a few minutes to see if we have any other questions, and then I want to talk a little bit of what's coming up.
Lance Southwest Johnson says, I've made almost half of my investment back already. Look,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
That's exactly why, like, we want people to use the platform and invest and do things like that, because it's like, okay, I've already made. So now you have equity in your company for free just by using the platform. You on the cap table and made your money back by investing. See, those are the things that I don't think people understand or think about, which is like, wow, like, I can actually make money. So if I get on here and start monetizing content, the money that I spent is now money that I made, and so now I have stock in a company, and I've made the money using it. And you'll continue to make money. And what I hope for Lance is that it goes past that. You make more money than you even invested in the platform, and continue to do so. And that's the thing that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Super exciting. That's great to hear.
Yeah, man.
All right. I'm seeing if you have any other comments. Oh, wow. It's 5:47. That means that we're enjoying this. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah, this has been flying by. These get more fun, especially now that we're on live.
I know. Definitely.
I think we might do these on other platforms too. I think we might need to take this and actually spread these lives. I like these. We might need to take this and go everywhere with it because this is a show. It's like a show.
It is. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up for us. Obviously, we're hyper focused on this race, but we're also hyper focused on growth. Even though we're raising money for a reason, anything can happen today. Meaning, we can grow enough where we might not need the $17 million, right? So that's why Isaac always says the time to invest is today because you never know what can happen.
Because one of the things that Ramiro mentions and we talk about all the time is the goal is not really to keep raising capital. Really, the goal is to just be self-sustained off revenue and keep scaling the company. So when there are millions of users and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of users on Fanbase, we're not going to be raising capital like that. We'll be a company that's just like, all right, we're rolling in the cash and be able to do that. So that's the best part about it. Is like we don't want to keep raising money because then you give them more equity. And it's like, I don't do that,
Yep.
Those are the things that we do. So yeah.
And that's actually our main goal in these 3 years with the money.
With the 3 years, yes, it's actually self-sustained.
Self-sustainable, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's talk a little bit about Q3. I will just mention that Q3 will be a little bit of Q2 as well. 3 objectives: growth, user-based growth, bring more creators, engagement.
Yes.
Obviously, we want to continue making Fanbase a great experience for everyone. And that sometimes means doing small things that we, I know we talked about, blog functionality and other things to make sure that everyone feels safe and feels great in the community and they can grow within Fanbase.
Yep.
And then last but not least, we want to set ourselves up for something huge that potentially is coming in Q4, which means that we want to start giving creators better ways to customize their experience for their followers.
I don't even know what he's talking about. So.
Yeah, you do.
What?
You're a pro, so you know.
What?
Don't worry. Well, but anyway.
Sometimes I don't know what he's talking about.
I just gave you a cue about it.
Oh! Got it.
All right. So Q3 is going to be...
now.
Yeah, so
that's big, though.
That's big.
That's very big.
It starts today.
It starts today. That's very big.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Q3, we're going to be bringing a lot of increments. We are going to be bringing carousel, guys. I know we promised you that. So 3 Thursdays ago on my Thursday Tech Talk, I let the audience participate in telling us what feature would they love to see in Fanbase. And the one that was voted the most was carousel. So that we're definitely going to bring carousel in Q3 among other increments that, again, they're going to be around growing the platform, growing community. We're going to be doing a lot of work on camps. So if you don't know what camps is, it's a great way of building community around common interest. So if you're on audio and you go to the upper right-hand side, you're going to see a camp icon.
Yep.
Tap on that, and you're going to see a lot of camps out there with different interests. I encourage you to join because there's a lot of conversations. But guess what? Starting in Q3, there's going to be new features, and we're going to bring camps outside of audio as well.
Camps are coming outside of audio, and that's if you think about what that means, that just means that you'll be able to build community in different verticals and post content for your camp. So that's a community. So now it's like a group. So if you've built a camp around Call of Duty, which I'm about to play sometime later today because I love playing Call of Duty. So you can start an audio room for your camp, or start a live for your camp, or make a long form Fanbase Plus video for your camp, or a post or a story, etc. So that's why we want to take camps and make it app wide and just take it out of the audio realm.
Yeah, and I will say one more that is coming up that Kyle announced it when we hit our first $1 million in the race.
Oh, yeah.
RTMP.
RTMP streaming.
RTMP streaming is coming in Q3. So for those that are gamers and you like to do third-party streaming, we are going to be opening that up, and we're super excited about that. So Q3, we're already planning Q3, even though we still have one month left. And I think we're getting better and better because, when we started, we were always catching up.
Yeah.
And we feel like now we're being more and more proactive about it.
We're actually, the things that we're built, we got to the point right now, the things that we thought about building, they're actually coming to fruition and we're building them. It's like, okay, what's happening with live tomorrow, RTMP streaming, feed refactor, carousel, I'm excited. So
yeah, there's a lot.
there's a lot. Like there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always say when we set objectives for the next quarter, we always set it, assuming for the best, meaning we want to really push ourselves. We don't want to say, hey, let's plan all our objectives around the size of the team that we have today,
Right.
like what we can do today. That's not the way to look at things. We're actually doing it very ambitious. And the crazy thing, you know what? When we set our objectives for Q2, Isaac, a lot of people were like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. How are we going to make all of this? And we're like very close to closing all of that.
Absolutely. Meeting the goals we set is something that the team is very well at doing.
Definitely. And we're going to be continuing doing other campaigns. The marketing team is doing a great job in really trying to feature all the different verticals that we have inside Fanbase. So our campaigns are going to be more and more product driven. So we're going to continue bringing great conversations into audio. We're going to continue bringing great live streaming into live. So there's going to be a lot of exciting things coming in Q3 for sure beyond product. And we're also going to be doing a lot of creator outreach. And we're going to be bringing some exciting creators as well.
I think so. I'm putting it in the universe. I think one for sure. I think I'm going to get my wish list of this one creator that I've been trying to get on the platform. So I'm putting it in the universe, but they're coming. I'm just going to say they're going to pull up the fan base, and you're going to be like, wow. And I'm like, yup. And then it's going to really get crowded over here.
I know. Then we're going to have other problems.
Right, we're going to have other problems.
Someone asked, because I know we always say, like, we assume everyone knows, what is the feed refactor?
Oh, okay. So I'm explaining it like this. The feed refactor is basically taking the skeleton of Fanbase and rebuilding it to be a lot more versatile. But we can't stop the app from running. So it's like trying to take the frame of a building. It's like rebuilding the foundation of a building while keeping the building running at the same time. So it takes a lot longer. But the feed refactor now is going to give us the ability to put multiple types of media in the feed. As we know, like real video, like live video, full immersive video is extremely popular right now. And there's some limitations that we've had in the feed before. So you'll see a lot more Flicks videos in the feed. You'll see lives in the feed. You'll see a lot of other things that'll just come up through the feed. And even things that might not even be invented yet, or things that we don't want to tell you that we will be able to put in the feed down the road because...
I'm glad you stopped there.
Yeah, right. And just things that, like, you think about, something we could put in the feed and you don't even know. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but just things like that. So the ability to add a lot more functionality and versatility to the feed, and the quality, because images, like things like that, video, we talked about even different, well, I'm not going to say that. But
no, it's okay. The different formats.
Different formats.
Improving the way we create and we consume content is going to change drastically.
Absolutely.
After that. And I will say something else too, because it's also tied to one of the features that is being released this week. If you are outside the US, a lot of times in different regions, connectivity, is very important.
Yeah.
And it's not as, available as it is here.
Mm-hmm.
So as we grow through these increments, such as the feed refactor, we also want to make sure that the app works efficiently in each one of your devices. So you can use Fanbase better regardless of where you are in the world. Feed refactor is going to be a big part for everyone in the world, because some of you will see a difference also how you consume data within the app itself as well.
Make it more fit. We don't want to run your data up in India.
Exactly.
So,
again, with the very small and nimble team we have, we're still trying to consider every aspect of every feature that we put out there.
Yeah.
And by the way, I know I mentioned something that is coming tomorrow, if you are outside the US, UK, Canada, or Australia, you can now also get paid right away on the first of every month through PayPal.
There we go, another one, another big one. PayPal outside of the U.S.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we have a few more minutes. Let me see if we have a few more questions here, and then I'll let you
close it out.
Yeah.
So I can go play Call of Duty and be better than DJ Swag. Excuse me.
Let me see. Oh, look, I see Fede in the chat room too.
Yeah.
What's up, Fede?
What's up, Fede?
I have another question. Will you make the regular people celebrities who's be on this app? Or will it be the celebrities we know like Sexy?
Well, first of all, Fanbase has it's stars already. There are people that have been creating content on here for a long time. Shout out to DJ Swag. Shout out to Silver Fox Luxury. I'm trying to think. Layla Fox, The Dressing Room, How to Fanbase. Like, there are
They're about to get people jealous, so you might have to mention like 100 more people.
I know, but there's a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, Oracle Treehouse, the people that have been on here that contribute to the community and make content. So shout out to them, Durand, people that have been on the platform and continue to do that. So Fanbase already has it. Now, if Sexy Red decides to pull up on Fanbase, I can't stop her. And we're going to welcome Sexy Red, right? We would welcome Sexy Red to Fanbase if she wants to pull up to Fanbase and do those types of things. So, sure. So somebody says, how do I get more subscribers to my premium subscription? So one of the things that I'll say is that money is not going to just fall in your lap. It is a process in marketing. We do have best practices. And one of the things that you have to do as any type of creator is promote the fact that you have content for people to subscribe to. So, you know, within the Fanbase community, there are people that will subscribe to your content, but more importantly, it's about the people that are outside. So something that we use, and I think that's very successful on Fanbase, is Linktree, right? Which drives a lot of traffic to Fanbase by posting Fanbase in your Linktree, and it lets people know where to go. So that link in bio type of situation, and then, you know, you posting it on stories, like using other platforms. I still use every other social media platform to continue to promote Fanbase. I'm not just on Fanbase. I'm on all the other platforms talking about Fanbase because the world is large. Some people have not heard about Fanbase yet. So I give every opportunity to be able to bring people to the platform and discover Fanbase. So I'm not shy about using any other platform for the sole purpose of marketing and promoting people to come to Fanbase.
Yeah. So actually, I just pulled every time, obviously we have different verticals. We always try to build best practices.
Absolutely.
So, I think it's interesting that they asked this question. So I'm just going to say this and then I'll let you close
Go ahead.
So how can you gain subscribers and how can you also keep them engaged? All right. Number one is consistency. You have to make sure that you are consistent in posting. Posting once and then don't posting for another month will not get you more subscribers, will not engage your subscribers. So consistency is key. Also, make sure you tease those that will subscribe with a public content before you put exclusive. If you just put 10,000 exclusive content and no public, no one will know what your content is about. They'll have to actually pay to find out. Yeah. And we don't want to do that, right? So teasing through public content or free content is something that it can definitely help you, okay? Also, once you gain that subscriber, you want to make sure that, number one, you can reach out to your subscribers as well. You know who your subscribers are. Reach out to them and thank them. Go on live, and when you go live, you're actually going to see a badge that when they're subscribed to you, and you'll be able to thank them or DM them if you need to. So thanking your subscribers is also a way to acknowledging them as well.
Engagement, yeah.
And we're actually going to be working on that, how we can make that easier to do as well, right?
I told them something else I want to build.
Yeah, definitely. So, and we're actually doing our part as well, especially on the CRM side, on the communication side, how we can support you as you subscribe and as you gain subscribers, right? Letting you know when someone unsubscribe and why are they unsubscribing, what didn't work.
At what point they exit.
Yeah, so it's not it's not easy, but you actually have a great tool that makes it easier to do.
So let me get a stat that's just across almost every single platform that has subscriptions. There's about 50% churn on all subscriber platforms. I don't care if it's OnlyFans, I don't care if it's Patreon, meaning about half the people that subscribe to you will probably unsubscribe. What you want to do is continue to gain momentum, or if you know why they're unsubscribing, how do you keep them? Churn is inevitable. It's just a part of what it is. It's like people will subscribe, and then they'll tap out. But if you're not consistent, if you're not engaging, if you're not, creating content that they're interested in and really tapping into your fan base, the fan base that you have, then you are going to experience churn. So that's one of the things that you got to do. I mean, it's a lot easier sometimes with other forms, but trust and believe that there are gamers, there are chefs, there are fitness enthusiasts, there are people that are making money off subscriptions because they're providing something that's very niche to a community of people that value what they do. And so as long as you're doing that, you will definitely make money on Fanbase.
Definitely. All right, so we're past the hour. I know we started late.
Yeah.
I was looking for some questions, but I don't think we have any more questions. We have great comments. It's been a great audio room with a lot of people contributing it. So, Isaac, give us a brief summary of this amazing audio room.
Right now, Fanbase is raising $17 million in a regulation crowdfund on startengine.com at a valuation of $160 million with a minimum to invest of $399 at $665 a share, which gets you 60 shares of Fanbase stock right now. We urge everyone to go to startengine.com/fanbase. Take the link, forward it to your friends, family members you want to invest for your kids, your grandkids, your relatives, yourself. Buy some stock as a gift. Because I think, it's just this has one thing I'll say is this really I haven't seen anybody do this before. I haven't seen a social media platform raise capital by allowing the community to actually own part of the platform in its early stages. And what I really do hope one day is that, I'm standing in a room with 25, 35,000 people that were early investors in Fanbase when we do an eventual exit. And Fanbase might have 100 million users or 1 billion users or whatever by then. But those first 25,000 people are going to be like, wow, like we're part of history. We made history. And so that's the goal to do that. So